under control of critical functions.
Greetings, everyone. It is that time of your, I guess, pre-weekend. It is time for Wild and Weird Radio Live. And also tonight, special occasion for a few, probably a few months to come, actually, this is going to be the actual podcast as well, the audio version.
And, the first hour, anyway.
Yeah, the first hour will be. So that means stick around because we're not going to end the show at the 1 hour mark. It's going to sound like that, but that's not what's happening. So do not abandon because we have some really cool stuff to show you in that second hour, including, if I can get it uploaded, some very new, Joe, never before seen, UAP thermal footage that I took while on vacation out there this past weekend after the eclipse.
Well, I'm excited to see that because, like you said, you haven't sent me any clips of it yet, and I'm really stoked to see what you got. I remember you telling me you got some, but I'm pretty excited to see that. But before we get into all that, Bigfoot, Littlefoot, are we there yet? Yes, we are here. You were 45 minutes early and 30 minutes late. Okay, we'll see you here in a bit. Dewster, what's going on, brother? Good to have you in the house, man. I know that if you guys have noticed, he has changed his name as Research and Development, and he posted pictures of his latest build over there. I think it was a REM pod. Was that a REM pod that you built, Dewey?
Awesome little REM pod.
Looked really cool. It looks sturdy too. Was that a metal like stomp box configuration that you essentially used? Because that's going to hold up. Donna Ho, what's going on? Dell Ty in the house. Good to see you back, Dell. Octopus with no friends is hanging out with all their friends here at Wild and Weird Radio. Spidey Senses got me here 90 seconds early without YouTube's help. Yeah, thank God, because like a host of Wild and Weird Radio have not been getting alerts for Wild and Weird Radio for like
we don't.
3 days after.
So let's do that. Everybody, seriously, if you know somebody who should be here, reach out to them right now and tell them the show's on.
It wouldn't hurt to go check your notification bell setting as well, because I know that mine changed on a few folks. I noticed here recently with Small Town Monsters that my notification bell had been turned off on all of their new updates and stuff. So I went and flicked that bell again like it owed me some money. So you guys get out there, check your notification bell, and make sure you're still subscribed to Wild and Weird Radio. So get on it, dag on it. And let's see, we've got
get on it, dag on it.
Yeah, man.
That sounds like something Burchett would say.
Right.
You turning into him? What? What's going on?
We got Larry Hose in the house. What's going on, brother? Excited to see you in a couple days. James Nelson's in the house. Nancy White hanging out as usual. Nancy, we love you. You're one of our favorite human beings. I just want you to know that. Lotus Flower, how's it going? Good to see you back. Brandon Wills, get in here.
I'm sending the link. I forgot. Sorry, Brandon. It was my fault, man.
Theresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State. What is going on? There he is. Looky there. You ask and you will receive.
There he is. He's back.
Then we've got Dewster again. Spooky Appalachia. Terri McCullough in the house. That's right. It's Thursday Wild Group Time. That's 100% correct. Chris Coots, what is going on, buddy? Good to see you back. Fish Belly, as usual. Pleasure to have you. Thanks for hanging out. Finding the Trackway. Ada Cox, another one of our favorite humans out there. Rob Posey, what's going on? Good to see you back. Lesa, hey there, family. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday indeed.
Happy pre-weekend.
Right. Eyes in the Woods is in the house. We've got, I think that caught us up with the people in the chat. And there's a few folks that are not here that are usually. So I'm going to send out some messages here in a second.
Sending out some messages. Everybody reach out there and tell everybody, the show is on. And let's get this place packed because we have a lot to go over tonight.
And while we're waiting on some of the rest of those guys to show up over here, just remember this show's kept indefinitely for eons and eons and eons and eons to come by the likes of the executive producers Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Theresa of Theresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Larry Hose, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Tommy Swiger, Pat, Small Town Monsters, Eyes in the Woods, James Nelson, our amazing super chatters, as always, some of the most phenomenal people we know, Dewey Edwards, Spooky Appalachia. Speaking of Dewey Edwards, look there in the background.
Dewey Edwards. Oh, look at you.
You've got Jimothy at Spooky Appalachia, Guitarchains Craig, Travis Aurednik, Geoffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, BigfootLittlefoot, Terri Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Finding the Trackway, Donna Ho, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike the Fob, Daddy Fobber, Ashely Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, and that other show that I butcher literally every week's name, but it's about beasts and beastie stuff.
That's all you can remember.
And Lesa.
Let's put Dewey up there and let's give Dewey a big old Sky Daddy applause.
Of course. He has been summoned. Followed by Ada Cox coming in right behind the juice. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, every dollar, every cent.
Lesa,
thank you so much, Lesa. Thank you,
Lesa.
There's a little Mothy there. He was floating around there. That's a good one. I rather like that one.
Yep, that's awesome, Lesa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
you
much.
are fantastic. Thank
everyone,
you guys.
blessings,
Thanks everybody for keeping it free.
I think that's 3. Yeah, blessings. Yes. Okay, everybody who's actually listening to this show, remember, people are actually listening to the show this time. So we're going to have to kind of read off some stuff for them. I know we sometimes don't do that. So it's a little bit of a different animal, but it's okay. It's all good. So everybody, this is the show, Wild and Weird Radio Live. And we have some pretty cool people out there in the audience right now that are live that, well, it's pre-recorded live for you guys, but for us, it's live.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, this is the live show. And like Ron said earlier, the first hour of the show from here on, at least for the next several months, is going to be uploaded as our regularly scheduled podcast. There is a lot going on in the House of Wild and Weird right now. And just to try to keep up.
It's a lot weird.
Yeah.
It's
just to try to keep up. We've been having to kind of make some adjustments, and this is one of those adjustments. And we thank you guys for understanding. Finding the Trackways in the house coming in hot. Look at you, man. Thank you so much. You are. We've got some people graduating this week, guys, from super chatter to executive producer status.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
Yeah. So we've got Lesa and Finding the Trackway who are jumping up into the executive producer status.
Congratulations!
Wow! Congrats!
So much. Hey, Brandon, you're on the wrong mic.
I am. Oh.
Yep. Copy.
Yeah, I think it's coming through your laptop.
It is. Okay.
There we go.
You going? Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and dig into the meat of this. We don't have any major news updates for you, except for the biggest news update that dropped. What was it? 2 days ago, Ron?
It's a pretty big news update. Honestly, it's
just not a bunch of news. It's all about one thing.
Yeah. But what's weird about this is we called this, we talked about this, and this is the thing that we do. We don't run with the stories until they get a little more proof behind them. Okay. So now I'm okay to talk about this. We had talked about before.
if we see this just show up on one random news site that is kind of obscure and not necessarily it might be noteworthy in the sense that it's a news agency, but it might not be out there amongst some of the other more trusted news sites, so to speak.
Well, it's going to hit everywhere now. So
yeah, it's going to be all, you're not going to not see it.
This will be Friday's news. This is that. So here we go. Basically, what happened was just a couple of days ago, Arrow decides it's going to release its big report, and it releases its report. Its next report that it just released, which is full of just terrible errors, and we're going to talk about that too and figure out what in the world's going on there. Chris Mellon actually wrote a really scathing article about it in the debrief, I believe, and we're going to talk about some of that. But one of the things that is in this document, Joe, is the acknowledgement of this Kona Blue program. Now, what this is significant because this was a conspiracy theory for years. Okay, there was a lot of people who knew that this thing was existing, that it was some kind of a crash retrieval program. That's what it was supposed to be for. And lo and behold, yes, that's exactly what this is. It is a crash retrieval program. And I'm going to read to you exactly what this document says. And this is the source.
Before you do that, real quick, I want to bring up that header one time, and I want to bring something on this to everybody's attention. Notice in the top right-hand corner, the agency. This is not from the Office of the Pentagon.
Nope.
This is from DHS, Department of Homeland Security, official seal, all that good stuff. And it's been declassified and made public knowledge now. So, Ron, take it away, man.
Yeah, this is pretty significant stuff, guys. So I am going to pull my screen over here and I'm going to read to you just straight up what this thing is. Okay. Basically, Kona Blue was rumored for a very long time to exist. And everyone said, no, this is not real. This is, you guys are tinfoil hats, all the above. The nice little slurs they like to give us every now and again, right?
Something we always hear.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of stuff. Right. Exactly. But now it's been confirmed, and it's actually been confirmed that inside of this, Kona Blue is actually a extraterrestrial recovery program. They don't say extraterrestrial. They call it AAVs. That's what they're calling them, advanced aerospace vehicles. We call those UAPs. So there's that. It actually is a very detailed layout for not only retrieval, but reverse engineering. Where have we heard that before, Joe?
Well, several places going all the way back to the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It seems like more and more of this stuff that rolls out, as much as people hate on Bob Lazar, it seems to validate his story every time one of these things roll out.
Right. Right. I absolutely agree with you on this.
Or does.
In the beginning, I was still kind of on the fence with Bob, but at this point, I'm just like, okay, well, either he's either a plant, or B, he's a time traveler. I mean, I don't know. He can see in the future or something. I don't know what happened. But anyway, the purpose of this special access program that's what it was too. It's a special access program. It means it was declassified. It was classified, not declassified. Sorry. This has been declassified now, so you can talk about it. But it was.
You know what else is declassified? Lotus Flower jumping into the mix, guys. Thank you, Lotus Flower, keeping it free.
So this document laid out the groundworks, right? And what's interesting about it is that this is the quote. This is what it was for. It was to acquire, study, engineer, and to identify technology from AAVs, advanced aerospace vehicles. The document laid out the proposal of, get this budget, guys, you're going to love it. The first year, $12 to $15 million. Year number 2, $25 million. the next few years, it goes up to $50 million per year is what I'm trying to tell you.
That's
This
a lot of money,
was,
guys.
it was going to escalate every single year, even more and more money. Now, here's the weird part about this. The purpose was listed under national security. Now, for years, they told us UFOs were not a threat to national security. Right? I mean, was that in my reality, or did that
No,
happen?
for that was years. It's what the excuse was.
Okay, that's what I thought too. No threat to national security, right? Yeah, we're going to spend how many? Almost a $1 billion probably by the time this thing was done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was to access recovered advanced technologies and to determine if threat capabilities and an explicit reference to trying to reverse engineer these technologies.
I got some you can reverse engineer. Tommy, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Tommy.
Appreciate you very much, man. You're awesome. Sky Daddy be with you.
Absolutely. Sky Daddy be with you.
Everybody who's listening on audio side
They're
is like, what kind of
what-
ADHD wonderland is this?
What am I listening to? This is not a podcast. This is cats in a bag fighting. No, yeah, but it's not. We don't fight here. It's weird like that. But yeah, so anyway, they were really concerned, and this is the key part here. They were really concerned that, namely, Russia and China were going to get their hands on these AAV technologies, explicitly that they already had access to them. So this is where we hear that word, they're always saying,
I want you to say that last part again, Ron, just so everybody gets it.
That they already have them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how we're always hearing this, they're afraid that there was an adversarial jump, in technology. This goes back to this. In my
opinion, back to
anyway.
Jumping like this.
Yeah. Very good.
LW Marshall says there's tons of money to spend on this program, but $0 for Arrow.
Thank you, my friend. That's the best. I don't even know how to explain that.
I know, right? Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks, LW.
Definitely.
Bob Daddy's in the house. What's going on, brother?
So, basically, what we're saying here is, not only were they afraid that they were, these foreign countries were going to get this adversarial jump on us. They were going to get this technological jump. All right. They knew that they had them.
Booster's over here cheating on us, by the way.
Uh-oh.
He said, I'll be right back. Wife just pulled homemade meatloaf out of the oven and it smells delicious. I'm going to go over here in the corner and cry.
Yeah, that's not cheating. that is not cheating.
I'd love to have some homemade meatloaf.
Yep.
Now, Brandy had a good question though. What year did this program start again, Ron? Went back all the way to
find this. Hang on, I got to pull the actual program up. I'm going to actually pull that up.
This originally, it went back.
Yeah,
because it was two different programs before it became ATIP.
Oh gosh, yeah. This is it's in that whole mess is where it's at. So I've got to go back.
Spaghetti.
So I'm going to go and find that for you here in just a second. The thing about this, though, guys, is that we've heard this multiple times. We're not reverse engineering anything. This
over and over and over.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. None of this exists. Here's a direct quote. The direct quote that you should take away from this. Quote, recovered AAV technology is in and is only accessible within an SAP access program construct. Special access program. Construct is what that means. So here's the kicker though. All right, you heard all that and you're like, oh my gosh, they admitted they have crash retrieval. They did it, right? No, they didn't do it, guys. They wanted to do this. They didn't have the technology though.
CJ, this is great value, Joss Gates.
This is amazing.
Answer your question.
So the DoD stated basically that they scrapped the entire program because they meant to retrieve these advanced materials and reverse engineer them, but they couldn't actually find any. What?
Right.
I mean, all I can say to that is what? Like, that is No words, guys. I have no words for that.
Well, one of the things that you've got to keep in mind, because of the nature in which these materials were handled, they were immediately put into the private sector to protect them against FOIA requests.
We talked about that. We need this.
And we've covered that multiple times, actually.
Yeah.
And the kind of protection that gives these programs is that unless you are part of a SAP, you're not going to know where it's at.
Exactly.
And then to boot, unless your SAP has a reason to know who owns and where it's at, you're not going to know. And if you go asking the questions, you're going to be denied.
Or worse.
Yeah, or worse.
I mean, there's a reason, like we said before.
Holy crap, stop the show.
Hey,
stop Russ Bailey.
Russ Bailey's here.
We have Russ Bailey in the house. Holy crap. Russ, we've missed you, brother.
Where have you been?
He has returned.
He's been to Lanulos. That's where he's been. He's been to Lanulos.
Lotus Flower says, what better way to not admit that they're getting the technology directly from the ETs and not from reverse engineering?
Well, what a better way to say that there's nothing to this reverse engineering nonsense than to list this out and say, okay, we had that program, but we created that program, billions of dollars possibly on a program that could have been done. By the way, just to let you know, I think it was just a few hours ago, Department of Homeland Security came out and said, hey, this never happened. It was a proposal. Yeah. Although we have, this other part of it that says this program, it's approved. I don't know the truth behind any of this right now. And if you're as confused as I am, then join the club, because that's what they want.
Oh yeah.
This is a land of confusion. That's what ufology is. It is a land of confusion, and they want it to be that way, in my opinion.
Fishbelly says, if there's enough advanced technology crashing to justify a retrieval program, you have to ask, why are they crashing?
Yeah, things crash when you shoot them down.
So, that's what I was wondering. Either they're crashing more often, or we're getting better at finding them.
Well,
one of the two.
Or a third option, they're being delivered.
That is actually an option.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually
being crashed on purpose.
Yeah, that's the
like here, let's give the primates this.
Yeah.
Oh, Russ Bailey.
Russ.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Multiple thank yous. Okay.
Men in Black allegedly crashing. Exactly. Wait. Are we agreeing with Men in Black now?
Oh.
Hold on a second.
Right.
But yeah, you've got the possibility that these things are being dropped on purpose. Not necessarily dropped on purpose as in like, oh, here it comes, and then it falls out of the sky, but just like, let's give the primates this and see what they do.
Right.
Let's try to kickstart their next jump in technology and make them ready for X, Y, or Z.
So is it like when we
up.
So is it like when we retreated from Vietnam and they were all trying to figure out how to use all of our Black Hawks that we left behind?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. So yeah, this is I'm trying to, you know what, I'm just going to put the link over there for you guys for the whole PDF, and you can go look at this yourself, because I want to get on to some of this other stuff in the first hour.
Yeah. LW said some things may also crash that are unmanned, like probes that have been in space a long time.
That's right, bud.
Yep.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, and that's what Avi believes, right?
Yeah, it is. And guys, Ron just threw that link over in the comments. All you got to do is copy, paste that into your internet browser, and it will take you directly to the PDF download for the Coots project.
And go ahead and download that and keep yourself a copy of that, because it is kind of historical, actually, if you're, into ufology.
think it was just a couple weeks ago that some lady in Florida had space junk crash through her house.
I heard
Yeah,
about
she
that.
did. That satellite, it was a piece of a Samsung
Yep.
satellite.
Yep.
Yeah. It had been like dead for, I think, 8 or 9 years. It just kind of,
Came to life and decided to crash into her house.
yeah.
Yeah. Zombie satellites. Gotta love them. Yeah, hit that like button. I thank you, Julie. I always forget. Again, you think we would know social media. We don't. We don't.
The bad thing is we do. We just forget because
No.
we get wrapped up in it. So speaking of, remember, subscribe, obey.
Oh, wait, no.
subscribe.
That's something else you're doing. Don't do that. They'll be blacklisting us or something.
One of us.
Right. Exactly what I'm saying.
Look, you use Zinner cards. I use subliminal messaging.
Zinner cards. I just test people with those. You're trying to, subliminal message people. Dude, you know how many albums were destroyed because of that?
Oh, yeah.
Good
Men in
album.
Black says, defunct probes. Are they talking about the space garbage we leave near orbit of their backwater planet, allegedly?
Allegedly. That's priceless. Okay, let me see if I found this. I want to find this video for you so I can.
Lesa says, another fork in the matrix. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, here it is. All right, I found it. And I am going to pause this. And then.
So what we're looking at when we're looking at this entire project here, it is essentially something that has been purposely covered up
Yeah.
for over a decade.
Right.
There have been people who were lambasted and baked out in the sun and left for dead, who said that this program existed, not under the name Kona Blue, but under various other names, and who were blasted by the media. Julie Bug coming in hot. Share a happy birthday, Julie Bug.
Well,
sharing the birthday love.
Hey,
Thank
happy
you
birthday.
so much.
Happy birthday.
I wish we had a birthday image.
And you got the good old birthday too for Julie Bug.
Thank you.
Should make one of Braxy zapping some candles and lighting them up.
That's a good idea, Brandon. That's a great idea.
With this program, like I said, it is a program that so many people have been rolled under the bus for saying or claiming or even just stating that existed.
Yeah.
And for years, the media, government officials, even UFO researchers have poo-pooed it.
Oh yeah, they've actually gone at each other's throats.
Yeah,
over it, which is just to me laughable. I don't understand that mentality as to why we have to fight over such things. But people.
CJ said, if this program does not exist, why do all the stealth bombers look like UFOs?
Well, I'm saying if the project doesn't exist, why in the world did you think, someone was going to pay you that many, possibly $1 billion or more just to do that? Why did the CIA go to Dr. Nolan to have him try to figure out some type of strange alien blood? Rob Posey, that is a beautiful question.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right on that. Kit Green and Dr. Nolan both. And you're referring to the research because I believe the CIA went to him and said something like, well, you're the only man who has the machine that we need that'll do what we want it to do. And that was basically a genetic screening type machine.
So Lesa says the blasting by the media is becoming a common practice. You can almost tell what's real by what they deny the hardest.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yes.
Danny Buckner said he's glad to see that Ron didn't get 8 last week.
I did not. I did not get 8. I did not, go blind staring at
Are
the
we
sun.
sure this is actually Ron?
Pretty sure.
This could be a body snatcher.
I'm pretty sure. And the only reason I'm pretty sure is because he sent me a picture of this hat previously.
Yeah. That's why I did that. So you don't know.
So
well, I'm official researcher now. I have a hat.
You
so.
are. It's official.
It is. It's official.
It's the big times, man.
That's a big time. Yeah. That's how you got to do it.
So
there they are.
Lotus says having audio problems. Just so everybody's in the loop, you might be having some delays. There could be some latency with the internet, especially in the region that we're in right now, because they are currently conducting massive repairs to the grid itself for the infrastructure of the internet after the tornadoes and everything that went through over the last 2 weeks. So I know that I personally am lucky to even be fast enough to be on the live right now, because the last couple of days I was worried it wasn't going to be good enough to get on. So here we're here. So if you guys are having or experiencing any kind of audio latency, it will repair itself when it goes into the final upload. But just try to hang in as best you can, and hopefully it will be intermittent and not consistent. Patrick Noble's in the house. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Anita says it's the wild and weird sorting hat.
It could be. It could be.
I'll tell you what, Ron, you need to get that thing autographed by Bob Gimlin one day.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That'd be good.
They need to get him a Stetson to get that.
Yeah.
On Moorhead.
That hard woven hay hat.
Yeah, you don't want to waste that opportunity. Hey, I ain't complaining. I mean, I paid less than $15 for this hat. I don't know.
Yeah, and then after a quick internet research, I found out that this thing costs over $80 to get it shipped to your house. So he got him a good steal.
I did all right.
Yeah.
All right.
The problem is my head's so big that most hats won't fit. So
American hat makers, man. If I can get one to fit my dome, they got you covered. Lesa says we just went through that a couple weeks ago and got our system back 10 times faster. That's what I'm hoping happens with us.
That's nice. That's real nice.
Then Donna Ho says if Ron doesn't have a cord coming out of his back, it's the real Ron.
It's right here. Yep. There it is.
Gryffindor. The trackway.
You guys are funny. So
Angie.
So here's the thing. We know that at this point they were proposing things like crash retrieval programs, even though they admit for years that's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. These people are crazy. And yet here it is. They were obviously doing that. So now we have to ask ourselves, what other things were they doing?
Oh, 100%. Like how many of these other programs and we've said this before.
Yeah.
What was this back when ATIP was first announced? We had this conversation. I think it was in the end of season 1, where we were talking about if this project is real, how many others that have been dismissed are real? Right.
Exactly. I knew we used to talk about, Majestic and whatnot, the whole, and I'm still on the fence with it, but at this point I'm like, you know what? It may not have been called that, but it does seem like there was something in there. That's a special access program. If it did exist, it would have been a special access program.
Yeah.
So,
even if it wasn't just one program.
Yeah.
The Majestic 12 could have been a series of programs that were all compartmentalized.
Yeah.
And somebody found
and
papers they weren't supposed to that were talking about all of those programs in one form.
Yeah. Yeah. And what better way to, this is the whole, like I said, it's a land of confusion because you're just, all the things you thought you knew, you don't anymore.
Yeah. The cord would run out the bottom of Agent Ron's black pant leg, allegedly.
That's funny.
I mean, he doesn't have wireless technology.
You would think at this day and age, he would at least be running on Bluetooth.
No, I don't like those things. I feel like weird.
Terry McCullough, don't they realize how much more they reveal while trying to hide things?
Yeah,
you probably do. That's probably part of it.
Here's my thing. So they released their report, and like I said, Chris did a really good job on this. I'll give you this one as well. Let me find the link for you guys so you can go and follow along in your book. Here you go.
This is Chris Mellon's report, right?
Yeah. This is from the debrief. And this is Christopher Mellon's take on the situation, basically. I've summed it down just a little bit. Not the whole thing. The whole thing is ridiculous. We can't go into all of it. It would take hours, literally, to go over everything that's messed up with this. That's how bad it is. But one of the main things I think about it is that, the law required them to provide a written, detailed report of historical records of the United States government relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena. The word investigation was nowhere. It appeared absolutely nowhere in the report. There's another breach where the terms of the law required Arrow to compile itemized a report of the U.S. and intelligence agency abuse on UAP technology and whatnot. None of that's there. Include a compilation of itemized key historical records of involvement of intelligence communities with unidentified anomalous phenomena, including any efforts to obfuscate, manipulate public opinion, hide, or otherwise provide incorrect, unclassified, or classified information about unidentified anomalous phenomena. And contrary to congressional direction, Arrow completely omits entire agencies, guys, NORAD, NSA, DIA, prior to 2009. Even though you can go and search, and I can go and search and find documents that clearly link them to UAP phenomena, they completely ignored it. It didn't happen in their history. It was also the first report. This is the weird part. He said it was the first time that a report had been submitted months before its due date. That's interesting to me, too.
Which means there was probably nothing to write. This report's been closed for how long? They're like, oh, well, here you go.
Yeah. It's also the first report from Arrow that was submitted to Congress that the Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, did not sign off on. It is the most, I love this. It is the most error-ridden and unsatisfactory government report I can recall reading during or after decades of government service. We all make mistakes, but this report is an outliner in terms of inaccuracies and errors. Were I reviewing this as a graduate student's thesis, it would receive a failing grade for failing to understand the assignment, sloppy and inadequate research, and flawed interpretations of the data. They got programs wrong. They got dates wrong. And basically what I think it comes down to, guys, is they didn't care. This is somebody else's problem.
This was probably thrown together by an intern who only had scraps of information to use.
No, dude, I just don't think they cared. I think they thought that they were going to do, as much as they could get by with, and that's it. They're not going to do any more than that. They didn't interview any serious researchers. They reached out to no serious researchers whatsoever. I even acknowledge that, Jacques Vallée, who had tons of data for them.
Yeah.
They didn't reach out to any of those guys. There's nothing there. They did the bare minimum of what the law required them to do, and they got paid for it. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, I think.
L.W. Marshall says submitted early, maybe predetermined conclusions like the Condon report might also account for the errors. It was rushed to get it over with.
To get it over with. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to do this. We don't want to be here. Let's just do what we have to do and move on.
Ben Black says this document is our finest work, allegedly.
Yeah, I think so too. I would agree with that.
Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. It's
Good luck decoding it. Yeah, I agree also with that, because it is a absolute mess.
and that is likely on purpose.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Just like when they released the 27 million or 17 million pages from the CIA
yeah,
back in like 2017 or whatever,
something.
None of it was in order.
No.
You had to go through it all and put the pages together, and they had a massive team of people that went through, and it took a couple years to get it all put together right.
I mean, it's just bits and pieces here and there, and that's kind of what you got going on here. It's just like they wanted to get this out of the way and move on is what they wanted to do. I don't think they wanted anything to do with the UAP topic whatsoever. That's what I think.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, look what it's done for the Pentagon. It's just been a mire.
Well,
a mud pit.
Well, it's a good point. And then you have Sean Kirkpatrick, who left the program, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, why did he leave? Why did he leave?" I'll tell you why he left. You know why he left as well as I do. You can't order civilians, right? Isn't that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fishbelly says national security secrets are kept. PSYOPs misinformation runs rampant. Their objective is to leave us with less than we started with.
Well done. That's exactly what they've done.
Oz in the Wood says Jacques Vallée has nothing to do with the intelligence community anymore. He told Diana Poloska to stay away from them.
So
it's
maybe
funny.
That's Pasulka.
Maybe that could be it too. I mean, we saw that with what you sent me today as well, Brandon, about Grush.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, there was a piece. It was the Black Vault. Is that who did that?
Yeah.
That article that stated basically that Grush had refused to meet with Arrow. But if you go back and look at the dates, Brandon, on that, you're going to see that it falls well beyond that window where he pretty much said, "I'm fed up with this.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go do my own thing," which is exactly what he did. So after he came forward, then they reached out and tried to get him to come over to them. At that point, he even made a point to say, and not just him, there was someone else, I believe, it was one of the silo commander guys who had a sighting, right? He even said that he questioned whether they were even, classified, had enough classification to even hear what he had to say, that he would be breaking his NDA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, he probably thought, well, they're trying to trick me here, and I'm not going to.
Not going to fall for that rope-a-dope, because that's the quickest way to get him to shut his mouth permanently is lock him up in freaking Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri.
Exactly.
Because that's where he would have wound up. He would have wound up in Leonard Wood.
Yeah.
And you'd never seen him again.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, to me, this is part of the game. And I think he had a lot of lawyers, and the lawyers told him what he could and could not say. Yes, Grush is very smart, Oz. Extremely smart, and I think it terrifies them.
I think he's looked at other people's mistakes in the past, and he's trying to avoid getting deleted like they did.
Right?
Deleted, silenced, made fun of, all the above. Basically, is what it comes down to.
Don't do what Bob Lazar did.
Don't. Don't. It didn't end so good. I mean,
right?
Everyone thinks it did, but it didn't.
Poor guy's been
CJ Boker, do you think Space Force is another program to hide UFO recovery program? I still don't understand why we have a Space Force program. I can talk to that as a prior service member, specifically Air Force, and part of my
he's wearing
job
a Galaga shirt, so trust him.
Yeah, exactly, Galaga. And part of my program, being that we were fabrication, we were part of aerospace. Now I never worked in the aerospace side of things, but we had to train in all of it and had to be schooled on how to work with all the stuff. Finding the Trackway, not Leavenworth. There's facilities that Lost in the Woods. Trust me. So the anywho, as far as Space Force goes, that program has existed since prior to 2003 when I enlisted. Our motto back in the day was air power, space power. The only thing that it did was separated out in a financial way, because so much money was being attributed to the at the time what was being called Space Command, which is now officially Space Command. They just separated it off, similar to how the Air Force bounced away from the Army. It was we grew out of the Army rather than being a whole new entity. It grew out of it.
Okay, Joe, stop defending the Air Force. Do they or do they not have UFOs? See how this works?
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
for real. I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and you're right. U.S. Space Command, all those guys, what they had to do is they had to literally watch all this junk in orbit, right? That was their job.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me, that you're going to try to get these guys together and, let's just focus on doing that. So money, that's what it comes down to. Let's just call it what it is. It's money, and compartmentalization, further compartmentalization. I don't want you guys who fly planes to be doing this. Y'all go back out to the flight lines and, buff the canopies or whatnot. Yeah. Let us take care of the things that are up there. And I think that's what they kind of did. But is it a UFO? What do you think, Joe? For real? Do you think there's anything to that?
I can't.
At this point,
I can't say anything.
Yeah, at this point, I can't.
Like that would be.
I used to think no.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I can't say that there isn't. I personally was never involved with anything that was of that type of.
Right. No, we're playing speculation here. I'm just asking you to speculate based upon what we're seeing come out of the woods at this point, and there's a lot. Is it conceivable?
He's wanting to do like OJ and write a book that says, "I didn't kill her, but if I did, I'd do it like this."
I mean, if I could run the OJ process, I guess. That's a great analogy,
Brandon. I don't know, man. Sometimes I wonder about you.
That is a great analogy. I mean, if there was a UFO recovery program, I'm sure that it would be very carefully guarded and very very, very quiet and compartmentalized.
Yeah. Exactly.
Agent Joe, please remember our agreement. You signed an NDA to get those CIA paychecks, allegedly. I get the process. Ashely says, I get the process applications all the time for folks who are in the Space Force. I always want to start asking questions, but they really don't know anything. And I like my day job.
That's a good answer, Ashely.
Exactly. Like,
that's a great answer
right
there.
Unless your job demands that you work in and around certain stuff in the military, it's all compartmentalized.
Yeah. You're not gonna know.
Like there were parts of aircraft, like I can talk about this, but there were parts of aircraft that I had no idea what they did. I knew that we built them. I knew that we made the pieces, but I had no idea what they did because that wasn't my purview. My job was strictly to build it, assemble it, screw it in place. Had nothing to do with the engineering aspects of technology. That was all in avionics and in comms, and it was all compartmentalized. They would go out and look at a plane and be like, oh, there's a big bunch of metal, a ton of rivets.
Dude, I mean,
what you're saying is you didn't or did work with UFO and UFO accessories.
I didn't work with UFOs.
Knowingly. He didn't.
Yeah, knowingly.
That's what you're trying to say, Brandon. Did you knowingly or
this
unknowingly?
metal, when you bend it, it goes right back in shape. Isn't that weird, guys?
Right?
But no, the compartmentalization process is so strict, guys, that literally, if you're designing Space Force,
at this point, I think Space Force is probably ran by Zorak.
Right? it's Zorak or The guy with the
I
fangs.
can't. I just
Oh
can't.
yeah.
I can't take any of this serious anymore. I don't know how anyone out there listening to this
Hey.
taking serious at this point.
Hey,
So-
you guys, what are we doing?
They're probably like, wait a minute, what happened to this show?
I know, right?
That's what's happening, guys.
The show has devolved.
I'm sorry, it's going to
over
be
the
this
last
way
15
for a little
minutes.
bit. If you've never been to the lives, this is what they're like.
Yeah,
and I
it
got to
is.
tell you, we're approaching the in 10 minutes. This is all it is for you guys who are listening on audio, by the way. But this show is still going to go on. So you want to
By the
tune
way-
in for the full show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and catch the rest of it because it just keeps going and going. Sometimes we don't even know when it ends.
You haven't
Right.
watched the
Terry
Brack
got
show,
it. It
by
was
the way?
Brack. Brack was my favorite character from Space Ghost, and especially
watched the Brack
his
show?
extension in Coast to Coast.
It's
Yeah.
on HBO Max. You should go watch it. It's hilarious.
What is it?
Brack show.
Oh,
Remember
the Brack
spinoff
show's
they had?
amazing. that was on Toonami back in the day, like
Yep.
late at night.
Yeah, Brack came on and became a just a cult figure,
Yeah.
and so they made it its own spinoff, basically.
I've got to go practice my Brack voice and I'll start breaking it out on the show. I used to be able to do it dead on. I just need about 5 minutes with him and I'll be able to get it out there for you.
It's only been like 20 years.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. It's true. So, guys out there and everybody, what is your take on this? I've heard a couple of people, and I know we've got people out there who have not said anything at this point. I don't
Men in
think,
Black's take is out there. This show is some of our finest work, primates. They used to be something almost credible. Larry Ho says we need a Brack daddy.
oh my gosh. Yeah. there
You know how
go.
quick HBO would come after us for that.
Why not? It's funny. Yeah, so basically what we learned so far is we have someone who is very interested in, they're so interested in keeping this quiet that they literally released a document that a few years ago would never have been released, by the way, ever in any sense would have been acknowledged. That they think that you're so stupid. They think that all of us are so stupid that we don't know why you would create a program like this. And then you're going to get by saying something like, oh, but we didn't find anything, so we couldn't really do the program. Well, why did you propose the program? Why would you propose a program? I mean, if there were no pink elephants for me to go out and study, I would not write this massive document and this budget proposal for how to catch a non-existent thing. Would I? I mean, why would I do that?
Right. It wouldn't make
What
any
kind of waste
sense.
of time is that? I mean, no. So that's how stupid they think you are. I just, throwing it out there. Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah, Brandy.
Larry says, I try to keep those thoughts to myself. I don't need Men in Black to show up.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
LW said, I think you put it perfectly, Ron, with land of confusion in this field. You can't discount anything and you can't fully believe anything either. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. Unfortunately, it's true. And I just, I don't know where that part's going to end. I know we're sitting here and we're waiting for, we're still waiting for Gresh's op-ed. He has not
That's
done
been
it.
quiet. That was supposed to come out, over a month and a half ago?
Well, look at what happened though. The preemptive strike is what
That's
happened.
true.
And it was
That's
a
true.
desperate preemptive strike at that, just to let you know. You could see it. So he's got to be very careful with what he says, how he says it. And he's got to, they put him in a corner. I'll be honest with you. He wants to say things, but I don't think he can.
Yeah.
At this point, I just don't think he can. Yeah,
He's sitting
mine
out
too.
The Genesis
I
babies.
know.
Man.
Happens to me every
Land
time
of
I
confusion.
every time I see one of those articles that happens to me, LW.
Oh, speaking of birthdays, guess who else's birthday is today?
God.
George Knapp.
Oh,
well, yeah, okay.
happy birthday, George Knapp.
Listening out there.
He might be out there listening. It's possible.
Yeah, he has before. I know that.
George?
There's been comments made that
Happy
were
birthday,
directly
George, from those
oriented towards us. So
guys out there in Wild and Weird, West Virginia.
Hi, y'all. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeehaw.
jeez. He's not with us. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We're gonna go ahead and chop the front half off here. So everybody who is
Yeah,
listening,
you got 5 minutes. Everybody stay tuned. Stay on here. Do not go.
don't
We are
leave.
not.
This is not a real.
This is not a
You'll
real.
get used to this over the next little bit.
This is a
But
drill. This is a drill. Remain
Yeah.
seated. Please stand by.
everybody listening out there in audio land, thanks for hanging out with us here for the first hour of Wild and Weird Radio Live. Remember, if you want to catch the rest of it, jump over to our YouTube. There's going to be at least an additional hour of this where we continue to cover the latest in this UFO fiasco. That is the best way to put it at this point concerning the Kona Blue Project. Remember, jump over to YouTube. That is Wild and Weird WV over on YouTube. Go subscribe over there because we're going to be doing a whole lot more over here for the next few months. We appreciate everybody who's listening out there, all of our night shifters, everybody who's out driving in the roads. You guys are awesome. Remember, if you have potatoes, then you can always swim somewhere. I'm sure they're sort of like flotation devices. Stay wild and weird, everybody. And back to Wild and Weird Radio Live.
Man, that's right there's why people tune into this show.
I know, right?
That sage advice like that.
It is.
That's just sage
I mean, you get enough
advice.
potatoes. That Rose and Jack both could fit on a large enough sack of potatoes.
Man,
We
I
should
don't
get
do
some
that.
pyro like WWF used to do back in the day. When the show would split.
Okay. Okay.
I need to make one of those 4D gaming rooms. Have you seen those where like they start getting bombed and smoke goes off and there's sparks flying
Oh my
everywhere?
Gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, oh dude, they're great. I need to build one of those in here. That's the next
Oh
thing.
yeah,
I
that's
need.
totally what you need. That's totally what you need. Or maybe we could just, I don't know, throw chairs at each other. Pretty
Yeah.
good. Tables.
So guys, we're sitting here.
I'd like that too, Brandy. I caught that when
Yeah.
you said that. I'm like, UFO fiasco. I like that.
I
That's
know,
gonna be
right?
a song. It's gonna be a song. Wait and see.
Sure, that's not a Genesis song.
No, UFO fiasco. No, it's gonna be a song. Trust me.
What's the potato comment code for people to gather or something?
I never know, Oz. I really don't. He jabbers off those things on the audio version sometimes. At
Yeah,
the end
and
of
they-
these.
I
It's
try
just
to
like
I try to be as off the wall as I can with some of that stuff.
it's like, man,
Um,
I don't know.
so guys, for real now, like with this project or program rather.
Yeah, program. Because it wasn't
They-
a project, it was a proposed program. So
That's right. That's right.
we gotta
So
stay to it.
it was the precursor for ATIP.
Mhm,
It was involved with NIDS.
mhm.
It was involved with Bigelow Aerospace beyond NIDS. It was involved with how many other highly classified government programs?
It's just hard to say. I mean, that's
Because the
whole
ones that declassified were the ones that they told us about.
thing. Right.
And coincidentally, the ones that were declassified are the ones that don't exist anymore.
Right.
Right?
Or they changed their names.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, folks. This is Kona Green now.
Yeah. Right.
Switch colors.
Yeah.
Fishbelly says, what and whoever are not as they appear. If the UAPs cared or wanted us to know, they would have come forward. At best, the government is under an NDA or threat.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
know,
when
I
I heard
remember-
Kona,
think about what you just said.
I remember many, many moons ago, Ron and I, when we worked at the pet store, we used to have dinner together, usually either on a Friday or Saturday night. And we would sit around his dinner table, and this topic would come up from time to time. And
From time to time. Yeah.
it was that was something that we were talking about even back then.
Yeah.
You're talking like 2010, 11, because it was before RTDS.
It would have been 10 or 11. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was even before me and
Right.
Kelly were together.
Yeah.
And you would bring up that it could be the government is under some kind of a pressure here,
Mm-hmm.
and that you think that there was either an NDA, some kind of agreement that was made to
Agreement.
not talk.
Not so much of an NDA, but more of like a agreement or treaty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer this goes, the more valid those statements become.
Yep. We don't want me to be right about these things. Trust me. Not good.
Finding the Trackway says, potatoes have eyes, and now the woods do. Bum, bum, bum. Coincidence? I think not.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. Right, trying to get this video.
LR says, little late gang. Hey, everyone. Hey, you're not that late. You're here with us. We still got an hour left at least to run. So
it's a fun time. You got here just in time.
You are right in the vein where you need to be, LR. Oh, Instagram disconnected us.
Yeah, it does that.
Yep.
So I've got to go and do that again.
So what do you guys think? Like, everybody out in the chat, like, where are you guys at with this? Because we've talked about it. You know where we're setting on this whole debacle at this point. Like, what Bigfoot Littlefoot said, I just heard an owl twice. Here we go.
No, don't you dare.
Here we go.
Here it goes.
So realistically, where do we go?
Well,
where do we go from here? And I want to hear from you guys in the comments as well. But Ron,
yeah.
where do you think this goes from here? Because this is speculation, entertainment value, speculation, whatever we want to call it, to stay on YouTube and not get our video yanked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can think freely still, I think.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, but I think that I think some people in higher up places are terrified. They're terrified of the unknown, and they're terrified of a loss of power. That's what I think. And I think that those two things, are the issue. The problem is that the higher up, there's only probably, maybe a dozen people who really know what this is. That's the problem. Now, the ones below it, they're really terrified because they know something's going on, but they don't know what it is. And they're just, speculating like we are. Now, the bad thing is that's not where we want to be with this. We need to get to a point to where we can talk about these things. I know that in one of the things that was released, there was a mention of actually talking about NIDS and Skinwalker Ranch and the high strangeness and all that. Well, for years, again, people attack that. Oh, that's not real. Well, yeah, obviously it is. It's right here in this government paper. It's right here. You don't want it to be real, but it is real. And there's some weird stuff going on out there. So are we at the tip of an iceberg getting ready to, I don't know, figure out what it is, or is it just going to flip over and tsunami all of us? I don't know at this point.
Well, we've got people saying that it's backpedaling to drag it out longer. We've got people speculating that it's been, there's a centralized hub elsewhere within the government that's collecting all the data. Larry says that I think that they might have found the true threat and are running scared.
What you said. And I don't think it's our adversaries. I'll just say that right now. And I think it's about time we stop having adversaries if this is what we think it is.
Bigfoot Littlefoot says, I believe they're terrified knowing all you got to do is ask and the other they show up.
What you just said.
Yeah. Brandy says, I think there's more people that know what's going on than we think.
I think there's an issue with this, that we are dealing with something that they're not used to. It's not another country that you can offer bribes to. It's not someone that you can make them think, it's within your best interest to work with us. This is something that seems to say, we will work with whoever we want to. We will do whatever we want. And there's not a thing you can do to stop us.
Yeah. Lesa says, my money's on the fact that they already lost the power.
The clock's already hit 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hit midnight a while back, I think.
CJ says, I don't think UFO disclosure will ever come. I think in a way it already has, though, personally.
Yeah. I don't think there's, like, what he's thinking is that this massive, they're going to come out and, Yeah,
they're not going to come out and have a parade.
No,
the pomp and circumstance isn't going to be. Well,
I think if it does happen, if it does happen, it's going to be something that's out of their control. They're not going to come willingly and tell us about it.
Yeah.
Some event that they can't cover up.
Oz says we're not going to get disclosure from the government. The phenomena is in control. People are going to be ticked that the government lied to us for so long. Experiencers who are ridiculed will be ticked. Finding Trackway says, while in Florida every night out in the field, we got face buzzed by an owl.
Oh, really?
That doesn't surprise me. What you guys were out there doing and some of the hardware you had, especially during mating season, I'm surprised one of you didn't get scraped. CJ Boker says, I think it's the government. I think the government is afraid because they cannot control the aliens or the UFO whatsoever.
Oh, I think it's more than that. And I think the issue is we don't know if they're aliens.
Right. Larry Ho says we just need to continue our efforts because the government won't help.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with this.
Lisa says, wait, wasn't this a TV show?
Yes, it was. Yep. Exactly. So you're going to join the resistance or what, Lisa? I mean, I don't know.
Finding says Churchill acknowledged UFOs after World War II.
I'm going to start handing out big spray cans of red paint. That's what I'm going to start doing.
Lotus Flower says the powers that be are in a relationship with ETs, but don't want to admit it. I think to a degree that is very much the case.
See, now this is weird because we're talking about something a few years ago. No, I wouldn't buy that. But at this point, it's like, you know what? That makes just as much sense as anything else.
Yeah.
You know, that's the sad part.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot more going on than what any of us really want to acknowledge, being completely honest, because if you look at technology jumps, if you look at if you look at various leaps that we've made as a society compared to, I don't know, the previous 12,500 years.
Yeah. That's a round number that you come up with.
Right? That is an awful round number that I came up with there.
Yeah.
There was a massive technological leap. And, you know, I heard somebody again talking about simulation theory the other day. And it got me thinking again. Because that's a fun little theory I like to bounce around in my head on occasion and compare to what we have going on here. It's one of those things where they found the latest thing with simulation theory is that the Large Hadron Collider found these symbols, right? Like they're not symbols when you look at them in, you know, three-dimensional aspects.
Okay.
But when they're laid out flat, the mapping points of these things, these atoms are similar to like the layout of bugs and stuff that are not bugs, but fixers and helpers and software that help with like things like Google
to make it all run
search engine stuff. What is it?
To make it all run smooth.
Yeah, to make it all run smooth, but to also eliminate bugs.
Right.
And what happens if those things all switch on all at once and eliminate the bugs again, and the simulation starts over? You know, is that what we're dealing with? Is that what the Hopi was talking about? Was that a simulation and they were surviving the simulation reboot?
I mean, again, we talked about this like
2 years ago.
A decade. No, it's over a decade ago. We talked about some of this stuff.
Oh, and me and you driving in a car.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
You know, that's the weird part. And it's like you're seeing this kind of start to play out. And now it's getting kind of, you know.
Weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird.
Brandy said, can you say that again? Yeah, so with simulation theory, it is the idea, for anybody who's not familiar with it, that we are living in a simulation. Now, that can be whatever you want to make it out to be. It does mean that it is creation, right? So it could mean that creation is a simulation program that was set up by a creator, which would not technically interfere or infringe with anybody's faith. But the Large Hadron Collider found these atoms or particles rather, that when you look at them flat, they look like the coating that you would see for these program helpers that help kind of clean up the system and help with the search engines.
My whole thing.
And what is it?
What you're saying, you know, the simulation theory, whatnot.
Yeah.
This is related to, in my opinion, it could be related to what we are seeing technology-wise today. Do you think it's just a coincidence that we saw, you know, this UAP jump at the same time in our technology that we started talking about AI?
Right. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
You know, that's something that we talked about too. You know, if we turned this thing on, suddenly everything took notice.
Yeah.
It happened during the atomic era. There was flaps all around the world. And then it seemed to slow down. There were periodic sightings, but there weren't major flaps like there were in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It seemed like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, things had kind of tampered down a little bit. And then we started messing with AI. We started messing with computers. And the more we have turned this stuff on, the more this stuff seems to be showing up.
Yeah, I agree. And it's ramped up, has it not? I mean, oh, geez.
Are you seriously going to listen to this AI generated mock-up, guys? That's not me. That's not even Joe.
Oh my God.
Fishbelly says, if this is a simulation, who simulates the simulator? Are the aliens who abduct people? Are they being abducted themselves? I mean, you theoretically, it kind of would be, you know, it's all players in creation, so to speak. Like that,
you know,
you can lay simulation theory over essentially every religious component out there.
You really can, and not break it.
That's
the scary part.
Exactly. It's very disturbing because if your brain is not ready for that, check out. Just don't look.
Yeah. No, for real. It's like some of this stuff is just to the point of where do you really even want to know? You know, that's what it comes down to. I've got a lot of people who come to me, they're like, oh, I had this happen, they have this, and they think it's fun, you know, they think it's like, oh, you saw a UFO, and then, oh, wait, I think I might have been abducted, or I might have had a, you know, contact experience. Where do you really, you know, what should I do? I'm like, well, first of all, you have to figure out if you really want to investigate that, because it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
There's no way around this. It will change your life. This is not a joke. It's not fun. It's not, you know, this is serious. This is real life. This is the life beyond the veil kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a paradigm shift, and it'll break you or you'll accept it. And then you get the people who, you know, I've had multiple conversations with people all the time who are, because, you know, they kind of look at me as a skeptic because I'm like, well, you know, because I don't like the word alien, because I don't know if that's what we're talking about. The data doesn't say that we're talking about aliens. It just says that it's something intelligent. We don't know where it came from. I mean, it may have once came from space, but right now, right. Exactly.
Been there the whole time.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. It's never left, you know?
Yeah. Just hid from the destructive primates.
So my whole thing is, you know, if that's the case, and let's do this if thing. If that is the case, then would we be talking about aliens? If we're talking about settlers who came here, you know, millions of years ago, way before, you know, this, you know, our version of civilization, you know, we would be the offsprings of that, by the way. But does that make us aliens then? Does it make them aliens? I wouldn't think so. I mean, I think it would make native maybe. Isn't that what it would be, like native alien or something like that, right? I mean,
well, think of it like this. It's like how us Americans call ourselves natives, even though our ancestors aren't from here. The Native Americans were here before us,
right?
But we still call ourselves natives. It's the same thing with them.
It's words.
They, I think it was Valet called them ultra terrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That was Keel.
So Keel called them ultra terrestrials.
Yeah.
Referring to beings that were already here.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw something out here at you. There, Preston Garvey.
Oh, I like that, because the settlement needs your help, right?
The settlement needs your help. That's your hat, man. You're Preston Garvey. So
Well, you're just a no good, dirty synth.
Yeah,
So-
that's what it feels like sometimes.
You might be.
But here's the thing. What about this? Think about this. Since we're going to hit the Fallout button real quick. Okay.
Okay.
What if all of this stuff that's going on in the government and everything like that, this is just like a managed vault? You know, like what if these entities weren't, they're not extraterrestrials. They've been here all along. And they're reporting back to whoever or wherever they originally came from,
So
or
we're just a
whoever
big-
they're talking to off planet, off
So we're just a
world.
big
Because we
experiment,
know
what
there's
you're saying.
signals coming from space that we're not receiving.
Yeah, right. Agreed.
And so whatever this transmission that's going back and forth, what if they're just communicating back and forth with the overseers?
That's a good question. Who watches the watchers kind of thing.
I
like that.
Exactly. Who watches the watchers? Who are the watchers?
That's pretty good, man. That is pretty good.
Like
Wow.
that's the kind of stuff that my brain sets and mulls over when we're not on the show sometimes, trying to come up with content to talk with you guys, because this thing, we can only talk about the same exact thing so many times before it's just monotony, but like we've got to look at this from different perspectives.
Yeah, it's not. And we have so many people out there who share their experiences, and we can't deny the fact that this stuff is happening, right?
Yeah.
What Brandy said. Yes, Brandy, I think we would be, but I don't know that would be the right name for it, though. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, because we've been on Earth for, at this point, right? In the hypothetical speculation of the whole thing, we've been on Earth for at that point, millions and millions of years. So would we still be considered alien? You see,
right? Like how long before you're naturalized?
Right. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting at. So would we even know an alien? So this is my problem. And I've always told you this too. This is the other thing we've talked about. We'll go ahead and bring it out to everybody. We talked about this, for years. So why not? It seems like a good time. I always said we wouldn't find actual alien proof in DNA because the chances are more likely that even if we found, some kind of biosignature, it's going to match us. And they're just going to say, oh, well, that's just human DNA. That's just human DNA because that's us. Well, I mean, that's problem just fixes itself right there.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at our DNA results too that we get when you do a DNA test, there's like 3 or 4% that's unknown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what they claim is that it's just a genome that they haven't mapped yet. But they've also said that they've gotten all the major populations. So it's like, what is that 3 to 4% that's showing right there?
Yeah.
CJ Boker says, here's a question. Who made the aliens? And here's how we make this fit into literally every religion. The creator did.
And, I'm not going to preach to anybody, but literally every religion, every spiritual belief centers around a power. I didn't say a God. You can call it whatever you want. It does not matter. You can call it anything.
It's a higher power that is referred to usually as creator.
Yeah. Now, what does that mean? Is that the programmer? I don't know. I mean, in the Matrix, I don't know. I mean, that's a funny thing. If that's where this has led us to, we would never have had this conversation. Yeah, maybe God's acronym.
Well, let me give you another example too. You know how most of us in Appalachia, we have stories like, oh yeah, my great grandmother was a Native American, but the Native American story that they have in their histories that they pass down is way back. We mix with the beings from the sky.
Yeah. Or we were brought here by the people in the sky.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. So many generations back, we came
and that's
from
not just the natives, guys. That's all around the world.
Yeah.
Okay. That's everywhere around the world. There's multiple, talks about that. So it's not just here. So that's why we have to really look at that kind of stuff. And I know that I watched, Brandon, you sent that video for us earlier this week of Graham Hancock and on the Joe Rogan show.
Yep.
And what an amazing episode, by the way. It's over 3 hours long, and I couldn't skip 1 minute of it. I listened to every single second of it. That's how powerful it was and how good it was. And some of that evidence, man, is just if you listen to Fallen Worlds, if you watch Fallen Worlds, you understand what we're talking about.
All I want to say is that, like,
Fantastic.
I missed the boat when I could have named my son Flint Dibble.
Flint Dibble. Flint Dibble. Oh, Flint.
You can't make that name up.
Flint.
Somebody was like, let's see how long he'll get made fun of in school before he starts to fight back. Your name's Flint Dibble.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a good example of how, ticked off. You saw how he was getting, right?
Oh, yeah, he was irate.
Yes,
like he was doing everything he could, and Joe was trying to moderate.
He was.
And
he was doing the best he absolutely could, and he was caught right in the middle of that mess.
A little bit I was able to watch. It's like he has like this superiority complex over.
Oh, dude.
Graham.
Oh, what caught you? Here's the thing with Flint. He's one of those types that tells you how it is, and that's just all there is to it. Okay, okay. Anytime that they do that kind of crap, that means listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. Okay,
I'm the authority.
I'm the authority. That's what he was doing. He did that all throughout that interview, which is just like, right? Okay. No, it's not right or okay. You're insane.
Scott Holbrook says, hey, Joe, what kind of aircraft does the military have that's wedge-shaped and with jet engines on the far tip of the wings and a single red light in the back? They're all bombers. A couple classifications of bombers, but the red light centered in the back, you probably couldn't see the white light that was up in front. They run in tandem. It's just directional lights. But yeah, they're bombers, and I'm not sure if anybody. So I'm going to go ahead and address this now too. The National Guard and active duty are currently running war games.
Yep.
It started 2 days ago, and it's not just in our region. This is nationwide. They are prepping for the big one again. And it is one of these things where you're going to see activity of aircraft that are not traditionally in your zone. Okay. You're going to start seeing, like here in our region of Appalachia, we're used to seeing low flying cargo carriers. We're going to be seeing a lot of everything because they're going to be using the Appalachian corridor and some of the corridors that are out in the Colorado Rockies. Not a whole lot of stuff going out Midwest into the West in the low desert lands, but just all your mountainous terrain areas. Anybody who lives out in the Rockies, anybody who lives in Appalachia from Maine to northern Georgia, you are going to start seeing some random aircraft that you're not used to seeing flying in your airspace. You can be alarmed if you want to. I know it might make people uneasy, but you're going to be seeing some stuff. Scott just said one just flew over the house. Yeah, they're running simulated drop runs.
So is that
they started
because
doing
of,
this here a few months back?
Do you think it's because of Iran launching drones at Israel?
That was this has been planned for a minute. So that's why it was actually, there was a big media release about it. I think it was on Monday, but it got buried in all the other news nationally. So
it was actually on WWK. They had a article on it on there.
Yeah. Most local news places ran it.
It was in Logan as to where they were at with theirs.
Yeah. There were, there were a lot of sightings down in Logan of odd aircraft that they weren't used to seeing, fighters and cargo.
Right.
So
it's called flexing muscles is what it's called. It's the same thing we used to do.
Yep, it's war games.
We haven't did that for a very long time.
We haven't. It's been 2001.
Yep.
But just keep that in your mind and let that translate however you want. So, yeah. So that's what it is, Scott. Delta says, yes, this is training is being done now here in Northeast Ohio. Yep. All along Appalachia. They like the terrain. It matches other places around the world. Lesa says, did that include cylinder-shaped ship they saw over Pitt recently? I didn't see that.
No, I didn't see that one.
As far as I know, we don't have it. The only cylindrical stuff we got is like cargo ships. But those have wings.
Yeah, these things don't.
Ashley says, laughs in Dayton. Weird crafts is an average Tuesday.
Every day.
Yeah.
She's seen some stuff, y'all.
No doubt.
She
Donna Ho
seems-
says, "Holy moly! A strange helicopter flew over my place this morning. Never seen one like this one. Not police or military looking. It was probably military looking. Like it just wasn't what you're used to seeing, because they're flying in mountainous terrains and low high deserts."
I'll show you something that's probably not military in nature, and I think we're good. Yeah, we're good to show this. This is a thermal video that you remember what was last week? It was during the live when I popped on. I told you I had heard the wood knockouts out by the cabin. Well, I decided to go back out there that night and look around. I didn't see anything on the ground. Didn't see anything. I went and I pointed up toward the sky. It was nice, just beautiful, clear sky because it had been raining for days at that point. And we got this incredible, beautiful sky. It was just so dark out there that the stars literally lit up the land. That's how dark it was. And I went out there and I look up and there's this bright star. And I'm like, wow, that shouldn't be there because it was as bright as Jupiter, you know. And in fact, there was another one right beside it. And all of a sudden it started moving. I'm like, oh, wait a second. So I ran in there and grabbed the thermal at that point, started looking up, and I saw it go, you know, I couldn't see it through the thermal, just to let you know. That I could not see through the thermal. And I started scanning the sky. There's nothing up there. I'm like, okay, quiet night, I guess, you know. So I started looking around the ground, seeing if there's anything out there. Nothing out there. So I decided to go back up, scan the sky for a little bit. And that's when all crap broke loose. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's like just the simple act of pointing this thing toward the sky seemed to create these things. And I don't know how to even explain it to you any better than just showing it to you. So I'm going to show it to you. And it's just a little sneak peek of it right now. But we will do a more in-depth of this later. Let's go to share screen. And let's do window. And here we go. We're going to do this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Got that up there? Okay.
Yep, that's up.
Okay. Let me go back over here. All right. You see that little dot there, right?
Yeah.
Looks like a star. I would assume that's a star because look. Keep watching it. It's just sitting there. But this is what they were doing. They would just sit there and then they would just take off. I don't know what those things are flying around it, by the way, but I do know that that's not a bird. That's not a star because I'm trying to focus or keep it in view, but you see what it does.
Oh, yeah. And then it just takes off. It's like it's hanging there and then off it goes.
Off it goes. And this was just like constant. That's all they did. I have a lot of footage of that, but yeah, you can see it right there. It's just sitting there.
Well, it's not only just sitting there. Like if you look at the side of the house, because you can see the awning from the house.
Yeah, I tried to do that.
It comes out and then stalls.
Right there. Stop it. There. So it's just sitting there like, this is a star. You would look up and you think, oh, it's just a star.
And so this was visible with the naked eye?
No, this is only thermal.
Only on thermal.
Thermal. And gone. And when it left, I couldn't even, I mean, that's how fast they were moving. They were just
that's crazy.
And now typically on thermal, you will not see stars.
I've seen them before.
You can see them in infrared if you're using like night vision.
You can see the bright ones.
You can see the
I don't know how.
ones.
Yep. And you can see the moon. And I don't know how, but you can. I guess it's just a reflection.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you can also see these clouds back here. You see that? And this cloud, I told you it was cloudless. It was just clear as crystal. But obviously there were still clouds there. The thermal picked that up.
Yeah, you've got some thermal fog.
Yeah, you got that going on. But you can see that thing. Again, I don't know what that is. I'm just telling you that it now pretty much relates to everything. You know, we've caught these things multiple times now. And, you know, there it is. You can see it. And
Men in Black says they kept waiting for you to do something interesting, but then they left for obvious reasons.
that's probably what it was. But yeah,
Brandy says up north we seem to see those moving stars a lot, as well as in North Carolina. Those moving stars are seen now. We have documented it all up and down the East Coast and West. There is no reason to even assume that they're not being seen around the globe, especially at this point with all of the released information that we have.
We just don't know what they are.
Yeah, nobody knows what they are.
And if they do, they're not talking.
Terry says, I caught a star a couple weeks ago on that moved a little, then disappeared on the psionics. Yeah, see, now if you're star watching and you're looking for things like that moving around, the psionics is a good one to have in your pocket to look up, because you will see stars that you can't see with the naked eye.
Yeah.
And it opens up a whole lot more moving in the infrared spectrum.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to invest in one of those at some point in the future.
Well, you have the one.
What's that?
The night vision goggles.
Psionics is way better than those.
It is
way better. But you know, that's the whole point. These things are there. That was the whole point of kind of taking that data. It was like, you know, now we've proved them in how many states at this point. I have no doubt. You guys are out there with your thermals, get out there, point them up at the sky. You're going to see stuff.
CJ Boker says, I'm from Kansas. About 2-3 years ago, I seen a similar aircraft or similar to that on a clear day working at a farm.
Just sitting there and then gone. Yeah, it happens. I mean, that's the whole thing about this stuff.
Rob Posey, I've been seeing those at camp.
There you go.
Scott Holbrook coming in. What's going on, brother?
Right at you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. So, you know, we had them originally telling us that these were drones, right?
Yeah.
That was the original thing.
Then the latest announcement was that they're unidentified spheres of metal that can only be seen on thermal imaging.
Well, we're back to drones again now, though. So
these are saying they're drones again?
Yeah, drones again. Yeah,
Hadn't seen that.
Yeah, dude, they're drones again.
Well, there's a lot of drones in our airspace then.
Yeah. Well, that's what we said the first time we got the video at Logan, when we said, you know, because someone's like, oh, they're drones. Well, if these are drones, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any more than what? Maybe
Chinese spy balloon.
Well, wasn't it more than like 6 months later that's exactly what happened, Brandon?
Yeah.
And we had all this talk about these little orbs and, you know, metallic spheres flying around, zip-zagging through the sky. I'm like, well, there you go.
I like how that story has just like fallen off of the news cycle altogether. Right. You don't hear any of them talk about that, or even like that one that they wouldn't talk about.
Oh yeah, dude, it's
the one up in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Kona.
It's like never happened.
There's your there's their program.
Oh, speaking of Kona, I was trying to say this earlier, but my kids were screaming. So like I was like, I know that's a Hawaiian word for something. So I looked it up. It's a possession term for men. So it means like his, basically, is what that means in Hawaiian. So that was an interesting name that they picked.
Okay.
Possession name.
Huh. That's weird. Demons. There it is.
So with what we've got there, Ron, what do you speculate? What because there some of those were where you were at, it was warmer.
You saw the bugs. You could see the birds.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You're not going to see a bird do this.
Right.
That birds don't do that.
No.
So where I'm at, the only explanation, literally the only explanation for this would be a drone, but there's no drones out there. And by the way, that was just a clip. There are literally, the sky's full of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid. I don't even like to show them because it's just like people think you're crazy. and they are what they are. I mean, the data's there. You can look at it, but I don't know what to tell you.
Terry McCullough says, when you do another viewer submission show, I'll send you the clip. Send it over because the next submission show is not next week, but the week after.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks. We're going to do the next episode of In Focus. So yeah, send them. Y'all got your.
That'll be on May 2nd, Thursday, May 2nd.
You guys got your videos and whatnot. So yeah, send them over, and photos, videos. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the first In Focus that we did, and you'll see how it works. It's a really fun process. You send over your stuff. We do what you just saw right there, and try to figure out what in the world we're looking at. And usually we don't, but either way, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we always have a good time with it. Turns out with a ton of great discussion.
Yeah, and everybody gets to learn they're not alone.
Yeah,
that you can actually see these things. They're out there. So what have you guys out there seen of late? What, let's go there. Let's talk about orbs because that's important. We're actually conducting a pretty big research effort right now on that front. We're looking for anyone who has any information on orbs, and by orbs, I don't mean dust. I don't mean, looking through a camera and seeing these things. I'm talking about self-illuminated phenomena. Basically, it's
balls of light that are moving in the woods or skyline.
Yeah, exactly. Or tree. Yeah, right at the tree line. Right. That's typically where they move. So yeah, that's what we're looking for.
CJ says, with you three, have you guys talked to your military friends about what's going on in private? Well, yeah. Even when I was in the military, we talked about it some. But yeah, we talked about it.
The problem is compartmentalization.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It goes back to that.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I know people, he knows people, we all know people. And it's like, it doesn't matter because they don't have enough of the puzzle to come out and say, here it is. I mean, come on, we've got people who worked at missile silos who come forward and said, look, this thing came over the base and did this. And, you get these researchers who look at them and go, okay. And that's the end of it. So it doesn't matter. It's just a story. The problem being is we don't have any hard evidence. And I think that's what's really kicking us.
Finding the Trackway says, I'll give you one. Twice now, I've caught ice cold birds. You can see the wing flap on thermal. Insert Ron Sterling here. Birds are not real. So there can be an explanation behind that from a technological aspect. When you're using thermal imaging, especially during the daytime, or if it's particularly been a hot day and you're in the dusk hours, birds have a way to thermoregulate. They can suck in air into their like not in their feathers, but see them fluff up and ruffle and then push out. That's one way that they thermoregulate their body, and it works in cold and in hot climates. And if they're doing that and they're darting through your frame and your camera doesn't have enough refresh speed to calculate the data between the background temperature and the cooler foreground temperature of this bird, it will make it show up cold as it darts across your screen, the brief, 2-3 seconds that you have it.
But it's only relative. It's not. Right.
It's just a temperature and relative to the background temperature. So if you're catching these on a cold, like winter, February, those would be very, very, very interesting. But in the summer, it's hard, especially with some of the, you've got all these consumer grade FLIR that's out there now. And that's what we have. They're still great. They're still, keeping it free and fundraising for a psionics. Larry.
There you go, Larry. Thank you, my friend. They know that if we get this, when we get the psionics, that they're all going to get to use it at a workshop. So that's why they're doing this. So that's true. And that is absolutely true, by the way. You guys are just going to flip when you get to see what you're going to get to play with at the paranormal workshop, the TNT area.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's really fun stuff that we've picked up that you guys get to check out.
Thanks to you.
So yeah, thanks, Larry. Appreciate you, brother. Ashely says the last thing I had that was the UFO encounter that looked like the Wonkavator.
That's right. You had that Wonkavator.
I haven't really been out much in general.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird report.
So it was like that rocket ship kind of.
The elevator thing at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then there was actually another report from somewhere else that kind of matched what she saw just like a day or so later, I think, if I remember right. I sent it over to her. It was like this. You ain't gonna believe this.
Anita says, I can't meditate to rain now. CJ says, with all the orbs I've listened to a bunch of podcasts on UFOs, Bigfoot, and it seems like right before everybody sees when they see it, or there's a second part here coming.
Yeah, I already know where that's going. And you're right.
Yep.
And you know what is really funny, CJ, is we said this in a couple of our things that we've done. It's like when you're looking for one thing, you see these other things. They're like a distraction almost. It's like, oh, look, shiny thing, go chase this.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder if that's exactly what's happening out there sometimes.
Me too, Anita. Me too. So with we've got a couple people out here saying they've captured some orb phenomena or witnessed some orb phenomena. Larry Ho says chase the orbs. Pat says, I know I'm late, but I'm really digging that hat, Ron.
You didn't get to see it. Yeah, I got this on vacation, man. It's a great story. Told it earlier. I got it for like, what was it, Joe? $12.50 or something. It was on sale.
Yeah, something. I think you said $12.50 is what you said.
$12. Yeah.
I need to give it some work and fix it up for you.
No, I want it to look like exactly like this. I want it beat up. That's why I liked it. That's why
beat up is fine, but we just got to get her back into. There you go.
There you go. Come on. It's there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. Anyway.
Going for the cattle rancher look or desperado?
I don't really care. If someone tries to take my cows.
Yeah, now he's got that full sun protection going on when he gets out there in the woods.
That's right, Joe.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's why I wear mine, man. Look at my dome. It's shiny and doesn't have any protection.
Oh, dude, we were out.
These kind of hats, you still get a sunburn through them on your dome.
We were out in the one mine, and yeah, I was in a mine. We actually did that. I actually did the mine.
There you go.
There you go. Hey. There's something. And the open sky, the whole thing's open sky out there, and it's just, you burn up. So there wasn't a day that I didn't have a hat on. Unfortunately, I didn't find this until we were heading back home.
Till after, man, that'd have been a lifesaver. I'm telling you, like, people think
I had hats. I just had regular hats, but
people think you burn up in them, like with a leather cap, but you really don't.
No,
you really don't. Like, I mean,
they breathe really well.
Yep.
LR says, right before I retired, when I was supervising on night shift, I drove around all night looking for anything and never did. Guess that's why I didn't. Yeah, when you start looking for a lot of times you don't see anything. It just creeps up on you.
Okay.
Hey, Beth's here.
Hey, Beth. I got a question for you, Joe. How many times have we gone out into the field actually looking for something and found it?
It depends on what we're doing.
Not tracks. I mean,
not tracks. Okay, not finding tracks. There've only been one or two times.
Right. How many times have we gone out there and just been like, what in the world, out of the blue, because we're looking for something else?
Or even we're doing something pertaining to what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not looking for anything.
Yeah.
We might even just be talking to people about it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the thing happens.
Exactly. Paranormal researchers here right now, raise your hand if this has happened. Some of your best EVPs happen when you're sitting there and you're discussing something to someone else.
Oh yeah.
Multiple times.
And the entity chimes in.
Yep. multiple times.
Beth says most of the time when I'm out playing with the kids, not trying to investigate, I get more activity than if I'm looking.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes right along with that whole, the whole theory that the more you look for this, the less you see it. Really, it's when you're not looking for it, that's when it happens.
I'm just waiting for you guys to get an EVP one day that goes
TR3B. If that happens, I will tattoo it on my right butt cheek.
Oh, it's going to happen now.
I will tattoo TR3B on my butt cheek.
It is going
in
to
the military font, like the spray paint font.
Oh, I'll design it. You just get it done.
And I will get it done.
Yeah.
Pat says, just don't ask them to raise the radiation in the area. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah, which has happened. I've heard it happen. Yeah. I've seen it happen. But
last time we did that, this happened.
I don't understand. Yeah, that's true, actually. I don't know why that is. I mean, I've racked my brain on this one too, trying to figure out how something can control ionizing radiation. I can't.
Ashley says, be right back. Gotta learn how to hack the show real quick.
That's awesome.
Finding the Trackway says, I'm not looking for EVPs. I really don't want EVPs, but I keep getting EVPs.
That's because something wants to be heard or seen or experienced. And that would fall into what we've said before. Something wants to be experienced. Something wants to be witnessed.
Brandon, you're muted.
Whoops. Sorry, kids are screaming. So something I've been wondering is, have any Bigfoot researchers been out in the woods with their recorder on and picked up an EVP, like out in the middle of the woods?
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually what Finding the Trackway was referencing here.
Yes.
It is, and we've actually had a few.
Yep.
We've had a few ourselves that were just random, but now along and to accompany those, we had other weird crap going on. Yeah.
Which
it wasn't just the EVP. We listened back to the audio more carefully because the other stuff that happened, and that's when we discovered these strange phenomena.
It's weird.
Anita said we ignored a ghost once while getting measurements, and it exploded the top of a wood stove. Wow.
Don't ignore them. Don't chase the orbs and don't ignore the ghosts. I'm making a list of commandments for you guys, I think.
Beth says, I don't like the orbs. The orbs like me. But
the orbs are just fascinating to me.
We have a habit, as well as many other teams, so it's not exclusive to us, and we're not cornering anything here. But there seems to be a habit of finding data that you're not expecting to find when you're looking for something else. And I can't help but go back to Passport for this, and look at Valet's work with the Trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, because it's the only thing you can think about.
Yeah. When that starts happening, like you instantly, your mind goes to something is trying to distract me.
Yeah. It's not only trying to distract you, it's showing you that it can distract you, that it wants you to know that it can, I guess, understand you, right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Donna, we love you. We will catch you later. See you next week and enjoy your weekend. All right.
A good weekend. It's going to be a pretty one, I hear.
Beth says, I'm good at breaking the rules now, Ron. I get my best evidence breaking rules.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Pat says, orbs are not fireflies. Don't try to put them in jars. They do not like that.
Don't try to catch the ghost possum either.
No.
So I finally went, and speaking of ghost possum, I took Rowan to go see Ghostbusters earlier today.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
And he loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the Slimer stuff.
It's a fun movie.
But first and foremost, the first thing that happened, if anybody who has seen it, there's this one scene where Paul Rudd goes, yes, ghost dog, and starts walking. And the first thing that went through my head was ghost possum. I'm going to have to do that now.
Yep.
Terry said I had a disembodied voice say hello, hello one night while I was walking my dogs.
Did it say, is there anybody in there after that? Just wondering.
Wendigo,
I've had many instances
it
where
returns
I swear I hear
every night. Laura and Follow Them are some of my best EVPs. What?
Well, that's not normal.
No.
When we used to live in Emily's mom's old house, there were a few times where I swore I heard someone scream my name, and like when I yelled back, nobody responded. It freaked me out every time it would happen.
Yeah,
This-
he's cool.
Oh,
You know, I never found one.
Or you can't find them anywhere now.
Nope.
You can find them online.
Yeah,
But-
I never found one. I saw. I got the car.
Sweet.
I found the figures the other day, but he was not there. So they're taking them pretty much as soon as they hit the shelves.
Yeah. But yeah, this right here sits back on the shelf now. I'm gonna doing some rearranging in the office here soon, and gonna put some stuff out a little bit more prominently. But you know, that's I blame all that weird stuff falling off the shelf last week that everybody was heard on him. It's Slimer's fault.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh dear God. What do we think about the Sasquatch Sunset movie? Oh, Lord help us. That's what I think. LR, one in the box, ready to go. We be fast
They be slow.
and they be slow. Ashley Hill says, my most recent Mothman report said that he had seen orbs as a child. Oh,
Doesn't surprise me.
nope, not at all. Seems to be some kind of a connector.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, we used to have a listener of the show who would listen for EBPs. We've had a few. Yeah,
On the air? Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens.
we've had a couple on air too. It was real
Weird
weird.
stuff. Yeah, the timing was weird. It was very bizarre. They're actually still on there. You can go back and watch them.
Yeah.
I left them on there. I don't remember what episodes they were though.
And then there were a couple of them you actually cut and put back in other
Mhm.
episodes, and we talked about it for a second.
Yeah, there was some weird ones. I know for a fact that one we were talking about Wayne, and then
Yeah.
something weird happened right after
Yeah.
that. It was
He
weird.
hijacked the show for a minute.
It was weird.
Who are you going to call, Joe and Ron? And when do you file that report? Immediately over on wildandweirdwv.com. Click the report a sighting tab. All you got to do is answer a few
Yes.
questions. They may or may not sound familiar to the questions that were put together on Ghostbusters. But there's a reason for
Actually, there's
that. They were actually interested in it.
There's a few more actually.
Yeah. And
there's
some
a
more.
lot more. Yeah.
That's one of the best things about, I think, the Ghostbusters movies. They're the only they're really one of the only horror sci-fi kind of genre movies, other than Close Encounters, that worked with people who were actually interested in the
Mhm.
phenomena. And in this
Yeah.
case, Dan Aykroyd
And it worked.
wrote the movies,
Mhm.
the originals,
Yeah.
and had vested interest in the paranormal, parapsychology, and owns all kinds of stuff. Still does TV shows, has a podcast, all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff.
Yep, that's right. You mentioned old Steven. You know Steven's working on a new UFO movie, right?
Oh, really?
Yep. It's gonna be
Hmm.
another one. So what's that tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, it was last year when they talked about the Hollywood groups trying to get together so they can demystify the UFO phenomena, take it out of the realm of science fiction so much and put it
Close
into a
Encounters of the
believable
Third Kind.
context.
Oh no, when they first saw that Spielberg was coming around talking about that, like there were people who started teasing ET2, The Return,
I remember that.
and I was just like, "Oh God, please no, please no, please no."
No, I don't think it's that. But he's closed-lipped about the whole thing. He's not talking about it at all. He just came out and said, "Yeah, it's a UFO related story." So should be.
Anita says Dan Aykroyd is awesome. I'd love to meet him. I've actually reached out to him just here in the last 2 weeks, and I'm waiting to hear back. There's some stuff we're trying to get rolling for the Mothman Museum and Jeff particularly to do something with him. And then the other side is to see if he'll entertain talking to us about something. I think that would just be that for me would be like I'd be like, I can quit.
Yeah.
I can quit doing podcasts now. This is the crown jewel. Have Dan Aykroyd talk about parapsychology and UFOs and Bigfoot, and I'm done. I don't have to do it anymore.
So
Yeah.
in case people listening don't know this, Dan's family actually comes from a long line of spiritualists.
Mhm.
His
That's right.
great grandfather was a very noted spiritualist.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, he was known to fake things, but he also deeply believed in what he was studying and everything, and that
Yeah,
got
like
passed
Gray
down.
Barker.
Yeah.
Ashley says Dan Aykroyd is on my show bucket list items, so feel free to bother my social media. Oh, I'd rather. What finding say? Finding. Where did it go? I don't see it. Oh, that's finding. Oh, here we go. Finding says, there I am looking for Bigfoot audio. Then out breaks Gregorian chant, and I'm like, what? What? And then Brandy says, I had a dream this week with Gregorian chants. Okay. Ike Faber says, I've got Dan's autographs. No, I'm not shocked in the least.
Surprising.
Ike.
Not surprising.
LR says, Aykroyd once said that the Blues Brothers suits were inspired by the MIB.
See that.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Pat says, I want an EVP of Mongolian throat singing. Well, hang out with me one week out in the woods, and I'll pull some out for you, and you can just record it.
You never know.
Yeah, right. That might be Bigfoot's mating call, so you might want to be careful.
Oh, hey, well, that one throat singer, the guy that the First Nations throat singer, he was what? He wasn't he's a Midwestern high plains tribe guy, and he was doing some throat singing out in the woods, and there was some weird crap that popped up in the woods behind him. I remember we addressed this a long time ago on the show, and like, he's not paranormal, didn't hoax it, he's not into that kind of stuff. And like, he just addressed it very quickly with his people. He's like, I know what those things are. Don't worry about it. I'm not talking about it.
Oh, one of those things. Huh?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. And like, it was making its rounds on all the paranormal TikToks and Instagrams there for a while. And, but yeah, he addressed it. He said, I do know what those things are. I've seen them from time to time. I've experienced them from time to time. I will not talk about it. Do not ask. And just, I mean, that to me, in a way, that like solidified, for me, that he knows he's having and had real experiences with some kind of phenomena. And he's not wanting to talk about it because culturally they don't talk about that stuff.
Right.
Well, you remember what happened when they brought the rabbi out to Skinwalker Ranch and had him out there singing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it blew their instruments just haywire. Like, they were all over the place.
Yeah, that's when they got the portal thing.
Yeah.
Beth says, I wish you had the original Wineberry recording. I lost it. Would love to hear again. Well, we got it. We do have that. I think Ron's got a copy, and I've got 1 or 2 copies saved in different files on my computer.
I was looking for it the other day. I couldn't find it.
Rob Posey, I found out recently Gray Barker was co-owner of a theater here in Buchanan back in the day. Neat. Yeah, I'll send you a copy of it.
It's really hard to say what all Gray dabbled into. I'm sure there was a lot of strange things that he was putting his money into.
Yeah. Sherry says, I guess we have our answer on what was behind him in the woods. There's one thing you don't talk up.
Yep.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of things they don't talk about because they're afraid of accidentally summoning something.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah. There are words you don't say.
Yeah. There's words you don't say. There's things you don't talk about.
Or think about.
Yeah. Well, Ron's got the card deck, kids. Get your shapes out there. We're going to test how psychic you are so that way you can join our ghost busting team. Ike says bacon. Anita says I'm bringing stuff to the workshop for sound frequency testing, so I'll add the death whistle to the bag. It's
Well, you need to take that into bunker and do it. That'll be a great experience.
oh
for
man,
everybody.
that'll be blow your brains out loud. Can you imagine the sound?
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
All right, so we
I
got
still want to record an entire album down there with flute, and I always wanted to do that. I just never have did it yet. Be fun.
We've got bacon, square, star, bacon, square, circle, circle, bacon, star, plus, square.
Okay. That's all we got, guys.
That's
we good?
Yep, that's everybody. It's in the chat right now.
And it is a star.
I will take a look. Trackway. Square, star. We got star. Larry, where was that? Somebody said something. Finding the trackway. What's the bottom card, Ron? The card you're looking at.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping someone would ask. Just that.
Is that just the Zinner reader card?
Yeah. It's just Cartas Zinner supposed to yalla ze Cartas Zinner.
And now we have demons on the show.
No, we're not. I don't think that the Spanish people are demons, and I think that was the wrong thing to say on your part. I'm just going to leave it there. I rather like Spanish people.
All right, round 2. We've got bacon.
Okay, so wait. I'm going to actually look at this one, so don't. All right, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. We'll do it.
You can look at the next one.
Yeah.
We've got bacon, circle, bacon. Bacon's popular. I think everybody's hungry right now.
I want to do this next test, and I want to see if we can.
Pat says Cyclops. Nope, never mind. That's a plus sign.
Oh, okay.
Finding the trackway is circle.
Okay.
Brandy is circle.
Okay.
We've got a plus and a square that have come in.
Rob.
And now the bottom is bacon.
Okay.
Bacon. Let's flip her over. Diamond.
Ready? No. Some people. Star.
Let's see who got star. We had nobody that got star that time.
You're too late, Brandon. Stop. Okay.
What's the bottom card? What was the bottom card before you shuffle?
It was a square.
Square. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brandon says pentagram.
Stop. All right. So here's what we're going to do. This is in this experiment. I want to see if this works. So
Beth said, I was typing that everybody best be hungry. Stop reading my mind, Joe.
I'm going to look at this card. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate a number with this card that I'm looking at. Okay. So the number,
demons.
I'm just going to tell you right now, the number is 5. Okay. So I want everyone to think about 5. And I want you to say in your mind right now, before I look at this, what card is 5? Okay. That's what you're going to say in your head, just in your head. Don't say it out loud. You'll sound weird. Say it in your head. What card is 5? And then type what you see immediately. Ready? Here we go.
Donut. I love the bald Giorgio picture. Oh, that never gets old. Okay, so we've got, so far, we have circle, circle, star, star, circle, star, circle, circle, square, bacon, square, 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 bacon, square, square, popsicle.
Popsicle. Okay.
Man, this AI is getting really good at mimicking me.
You guys ready?
Let's do it. Circle.
Wow, I got it right.
Angie got it.
You got to run
Eyes
right
in
at
the
the
Woods
very
got it.
beginning.
Beth got it.
At the very beginning, you got a run of circles. If you go back and
There
look.
were the circle.
That's right.
Eyes in the Woods.
Okay, so what you guys just did was what's called
Scott Holbrook.
What you guys just did is what's called associative remote viewing. And if you want to learn more about that, after this month's paranormal discussion group, which is Mr. Joseph talking about Bigfoot.
Next Wednesday, having a big Bigfoot talk.
Yep, going to be good. You need to be there. The month after that will be me. And that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about remote viewing. We're going to do some demonstrations. I'm going to show you how it works. And you guys who were on here last week when I popped in for the end of the live, you saw the big tray of crystals I had there, right?
Yeah.
You know, almost half of those was found using associative remote viewing.
Neat.
It was very neat. It was to the point to where I was like, I was doubting myself. But it worked. And yeah, I don't even know how to explain it other than that. But it absolutely
decided what you're going to do with those yet?
Yeah. Open a portal.
He's building a Stargate, baby.
In the world, man. I've got to get off of this. I don't want to be here anymore, Brandon. What the heart don't you understand? Is it? Okay. But yeah, that's that for real. Like you
23rd.
Come to the thing. You're going to see it. I'm not going to charge you anything. Don't worry. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. But you are going to learn some stuff. You're going to learn a little bit about associative remote viewing. We'll talk about regular remote viewing. Although we're not going to call it remote viewing, we call it what it is. It's remote sensing. And yeah, maybe you can learn how to use that for yourself. Maybe you find some crystals. I don't know. That's what I do.
Trackway says, Ron, who kept looking in the window behind you last week?
You know,
Randy, we'll see you later. You have a good night.
Bye, Brandy.
Angie says, remote view the lottery numbers by the low.
You can't. And here's why you can't. It's a state of fluctuation. There's too much, I guess, chaos. There's a little bit too much possibility there. When we're dealing with something, we know its location is set. That's one thing. But when we're dealing with, you know, a series of data that can change, like those balls, which are random, you know, we don't really know what that is. I mean, that's the difference in how it works. And that's why people can't use it for that kind of stuff.
Ron Lanham says he's doubting himself because he's not the real Ron Lanham. He's opening a portal to go home.
Oh. Yep, I'm going back to Lanulos.
Let's head to Witch Mountain and summon a mothership. I'm ready for an extraction.
Let's do it.
Good night, Nancy. Good night, Brandy. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Y'all are awesome.
Y'all gotta have that weird
original movie was so stressful.
You gotta have the weird little purse with the star system on it and stuff to do that. I think I don't remember how that worked exactly.
Rob Posey says Skinwalker Ranch starts back up next week. I think.
Yes, it does. Can't wait to see what they discover that we already know.
Hello, Agent Ron.
What do you think they're going to reveal that we already know?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what do you think that they're going to put on the show that we did 6 months ago?
I know. I swear, it's like they're watching us. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But I'll take it. It's good because it's like good confirmation.
Yeah. LR says everyone thinks it's Bigfoot in the woods. I say it's Ric Flair going, woo! Those wood knocks are just flare chops.
That is hilarious.
Flarefoot.
No, that's fine.
Hey, Beth, no worry about being late. It's all good. We got people jumping out of here the whole time.
They do call it chopping wood pretty often.
They do call it chopping wood.
They come and they go. It's what people do, Beth. They come, they go. They leave, they open the door, they walk back out. You know?
All right, guys, remember, if you're sitting here hanging out with us in the chat right now or watching the video, go hit that like button over there on YouTube. Show us some love. It's a real quick, easy thing that you guys can do that doesn't cost anything, but it helps us out tremendously if you do it.
So what did we learn tonight, kids?
Well, we learned that if the government says we didn't do it, give it 60 years
75, 60 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's
Somewhere around
counting?
there. Yeah, it's all the same.
That's what I learned.
That sounds about right.
Men in Black, do not engage the like button, primates. You learned nothing tonight. Larry says he learned to chase the orbs because the government will not. Accurate. Or at least if they do, they're not going to release that information forever.
It's true.
Pat says hit the like button in anger to the MIB.
Yes.
Oz says potato is a code word together. The question is where?
Where? That's right. That's true. We don't know where.
Anita says the Men in Black like scanned farts. Adam's not here, guys. His internet's still out. He's one of the people that is out near the Frontier substation, and they he's not got any internet yet.
I was wondering where it was. I like potatoes.
I like potatoes. Instead of Avengers Assemble, we yell potato.
Like them French fried taters.
That is the new assemble word for the collective.
Potato. Yeah, it's good.
Beth
Well,
Duncan,
see, unfortunately, we know that the CIA listens to our podcast, so they're already on to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, like
Well,
as many you guys that have before we went to YouTube lives, there was like a solid 6 months straight where Washington D.C.
It was 4 weeks. It was 4 weeks is what it
I
was.
thought it was 6 weeks.
It was 4. It was either 4 or 6 weeks. But the whole thing is they listened to everything
in the entire. Yeah, it was the entire catalog,
all of it. And
Yeah.
at the time, that was like I don't know, 150 some shows or something,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like 150, 160 some shows.
Every week, Washington D.C. was number one, and it only happened
When that happened, I thought that there was like a small group of people who were hired to listen to all the shows because it couldn't have been one person. It must have
Dude,
been
it was weird.
It was weird,
weird.
and that's probably what happened, Brandon. There was like one person that had to watch them all.
Yeah. God help him.
I know, right?
Or her. I feel so sorry for him. Man,
Like,
I
because
almost want to
we've
send
got
him.
a way. I'll tell you just here in the last little bit, just to give you an idea. Like just here in the last month, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is at the top. Atlanta, Georgia, Columbus, Ohio, New York, New York. Then we got Dallas, Texas, Nashville, blah blah blah. Then over in the countries, we have U.S., UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, Philippines, Thailand, Ireland, Jamaica, Netherlands. Those are the top tens. So, and Sydney, Australia is in the top tens as well in cities. So, that number one number for weeks was Washington D.C. and it was right around when we were doing all the UFO.
It was the Men in Black episode, the first one we did.
Yeah,
the very first Men in Black episode we did.
And man, it was on like Donkey Kong. It was so strange.
Yeah, we laughed about it for a while, and then we weren't laughing.
Yeah, we laughed about it. I think the first couple weeks, and then it went on. We're like, oh god.
Weird. Yeah.
Pat says they call me Tater Salad.
And then it didn't just end.
No,
Washington dropped off the map.
Yeah, they were not on the radar ever again. That city was not anywhere near even the top 25.
So make of that what you shall. It was very strange, and it definitely did give us a little bit of a pause, I should say.
Pat says, I need to get a VPN and a bot farm to get Zambia to the top. You know, Zambia was actually on our radar. It was they made it into the 1% level, which is crazy. And currently in Africa, we've got, let's see where it is in Africa that we've got. Because right now the Africa equates for 3%. Or no, sorry. They've had 3 downloads in the last week from Africa. I can't see what city it is though.
It just amazes me that people in other countries, even this country, listen to us.
Right.
Yeah, I'll never.
Yeah, that's a good point. That might be somebody using a VPN and just happens to bounce them off Zambia.
Yeah, and bounce off Africa. But now Washington D.C., you can't You couldn't VPN that one.
Man,
What are the odds of
No.
somebody listening to the entire catalog off of one VPN over the period of 6 weeks?
Yeah.
That was
Somebody's
better
like, wow, this show's really
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
right.
weird. Yeah. It was like, it was really weird.
I'm not
Man
going
in
to
Black
sleep.
says
I'm
the
just gonna
CIA
listen
doesn't
to
listen to everything, primates. We would require too much manpower. The CIA AI, on the other hand.
Yeah, I know, right? No, that's true. That's what I told you too. Like it
The
could be
AI.
something. Yeah.
Posey says aliens can't resist ramps.
Oh, speaking of AI, I saw something really creepy about
Oh,
AI that just popped up. There's going
what?
to be an AI beauty pageant,
I'm out.
all with AI generated women.
400
Why?
teeth, 82 fingers and toes.
Why? Why are we doing this?
Consume all the content.
Was
You
it
didn't.
Exactly
like
right.
a battle of the keywords? Like,
Obey.
You were so obsessed with figuring out if you could do it. You didn't stop to think, should you?
Right. Oh man. Well, tonight was fun.
Yeah.
What
That
what do we got coming up in store, man? I know we got OBC right around the corner.
Got OBC coming up. We've got some stuff we'll be around, hanging out around Point Pleasant from here from time to time.
Yep. You'll be seeing their mugs up there.
There's a few things actually that we'll be doing. Some things are special access programs.
Yeah, SAPs.
SAPs that we can't talk about yet. So you got that going on. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got OBC coming up. So if you're gonna be in Salt Fork area, you'll find us upstairs on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on what we call the party patio. We commandeered it last year because nobody else wanted it, and that's where the party took place, guys.
I may bring a ukulele. I don't know yet. I'm just saying.
And but yeah, we're upstairs on the 3rd floor overlooking everything, and it was actually really great. We couldn't ask for better positioning, oddly enough.
Yeah, it's really nice up there.
So there's a bunch of people coming up there with us this year now. So if you're in the area, if you're coming to Salt Fork, come out there and hang out with us for a little while. There will be a seat. Finding the Trackway is going to be there. Definitely come stop by and hang out, man.
Sweet.
You guys are always welcome. Then we got
our workshop coming up.
Workshop coming up on May 18th. You definitely want to check that out because you guys have already paid for that. So
yeah, I hope you're going to check it out.
You better be there. And I'm going to be sending out an email to you guys probably the week after OBC, just with a list of things to bring with you.
Yeah.
That way you're prepared for whatever happens, because this is a rain or shine event. We will do the thing however we got to do it.
Yeah, we've got cover out there. We can still have it. It'll
plenty of cover.
But yeah, if you want to bring your own equipment, bring your own equipment. We should actually suggest that. Bring you some recorders. The more data we can throw at it, let's do it. This is a workshop, but it's also an active workshop. So we will actually be attempting some of these experiments. We'll actually be trying to not just explain stuff, but show how it works. And that's the later part of the day. If you choose to stay that night, that's what we'll be doing. During the day, it's going to be the workshop. You're going to learn how the stuff works and whatnot. In theory behind it.
LR says I'll be at I guess it's St. Albans Library next week.
Oh, yeah?
Very cool. I'm going to be at the St. Albans Paranormal Discussion Group next Wednesday at 6 p.m., right?
It starts at 6, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be doing our Bigfoot talk that night. Hope you guys can show up if you're in the area, swing by and hang out.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I think it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Last year when we did it, or year before last, I can't remember when the last one I did there was, but it had a really good turnout and everybody enjoyed it. So I think you guys will have fun again, because we've got a whole lot more data that I'm going to be going over that we've acquired. There's several more casts that have been added into the collection that you'll be able to see. It will be fun.
Be fun and informative. You will learn stuff, but you will be thoroughly amused as well.
LR, isn't it at the library? No, that's not at the library. That's at the Historical Society building in St. Albans. It's over there by the tracks.
Don't be like me and park at the wrong building.
Oh, did you do that?
Okay, I gave you a
Yeah, I
ride.
did that once.
Yeah, he parked at the wrong building, and I gave him a ride down. He parked a couple blocks away.
Oh, geez. You did park at the wrong building.
Yeah. Angie said it is always fun. Every time I've been, I've always had a good time.
It is. That's why we support it. And
that is at 404 4th Avenue in St. Albans, guys.
There you go. Thank you. 404 4th Avenue, St. Albans.
It's the old train station.
Well, it's beside it, right? Or
it's like directly across the tracks from Taco Bell, isn't it?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
It's a weird
like at
place
a slight angle.
That's a very historic place as well. So very cool.
Yeah. You guys have anything else to add before we wrap her up?
I don't know. I mean, I could talk forever, but I really don't want to. Yeah, just basically, like he said, come out and see the show. If you can, make it out to one of our shows this year. You're going to see some cool stuff. We're going to have some cooler stuff on the tables from time to time. I can tell you that as for the workshop, the special goodie bag installation of your posters are done now, and you're going to actually get a choice. I like them so well. You're going to get a choice. So we'll have those there for you, among other few little things that you're going to like. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to this thing.
Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us here on Wild and Weird Radio Live. We appreciate everything you guys do for us week in, week out, helping us out along the way. We can't wait to hang out with you guys out there on the road. We love getting to spend time with people face to face. It's great hanging out with you guys here on the show, but being able to spend time face to face, there's nothing like it. So come hang out with us at one of the shows we're at this year. And if you've had a sighting, you can always get a hold of us at wildandweirdwv.com. Just click the report a sighting tab, fill out the questionnaire. If you want to share a story with us that you'd like to be on the radio with, come on, let us know. We'll send you a link. We'll throw you right down here in the mix with us, and you can share your account. And if you want, just reach out to us at any of our social media accounts or at Wild and Weird.
We're not laughing.
gmail.com.
Make sure you understand that we take these reports very, very seriously.
Yeah, we do.
So yeah, it's not one of those kind of things where, we're going to take your story and, this person saw, something. Yeah, that's not how we do these things. So
yeah, we take it very seriously, and we support you guys. We are experiencers. We're also investigators. And we want to hear your story and hopefully be able to aid you in some kind of way that helps you with whatever process you need to go through to accept what may have happened. The biggest thing that we can tell you to do also is go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. We do a lot of outreach programs, and those kind of things. They're not free. It comes out of pocket, and we've got to be able to pay for it some way. And your all support helps with that. It also helps us with getting gear out there into the hands of the people who are in the collective, and getting out there to collect data. And
speaking of which, I still got Tommy's K2 meter here. We need to give completely forgot to give that to him last time. And you guys,
we'll have to get that to him.
So bad. So yeah.
Well, the one of the biggest things too that you can really do is just
share it.
Be cool to each other, share the stories, be open with other people who've had experiences, share our page around. Tell people about it. That's the best thing you can do for us. Share, like, subscribe. I know it gets kind of old and tiresome hearing the housekeeping stuff, but that is how it is, because that is what keeps the engines rolling, guys.
It is. Yep.
So thank you all for hanging out with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, the next time you're wandering down the hallways, staring into the abyss, don't stare too hard. The abyss sometimes can look back, and it can get wild, and it can get weird. Sometimes we come out of the abyss. That's when it gets really strange. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
What happens if you stare at it and it blinks first?
Ooh.
Uh,
You won the game of Universal Chicken.
goals.
When it becomes a field contest.
There you go. All right, then. Let's do it.